He summoned the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." That is really unmistakably clear. And now the question comes, how does one enter into an eternal relationship with the Son of God, with the Messiah? He is the Messiah. He will bring his eternal kingdom. He will build his church, as he said in the same occasion as recorded by Matthew. Death will not stop him. How does one then enter into this kingdom? Now, before we answer that question, just to back up and try to understand, they have just come to the conclusion that he's the Messiah. This is a very, very high moment. This would be the pinnacle moment of their experience with him. Over 2 years of day-to-day experience leads to this culminating realization revealed to them by God himself in heaven. This is their crowning moment. You are the Son of God. You are the Messiah. That's a euphoric moment. With that confession comes the full anticipation that they would immediately begin to experience the kingdom, that they would begin to see him fulfill the promises made to Abraham, the promises made to David, the glories of the promises of the kingdom that are delineated through the prophets, and even the wonders of the new covenant given to Jeremiah, which spell out the salvation of the nation, and through that nation extending the power and the presence and the purposes of God across the face of the earth. They have big visions of what the kingdom means now that they have acknowledged the Messiah. However, fast on the heels of their confession, verse 31, our Lord immediately says that he must suffer many things, be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. This is so inconceivable, so objectionable, so far from what they expect, that Peter rebukes him, and the Lord has to say, "Peter, you're letting Satan talk through your mouth. Get behind me, Satan. You're not setting your mind on God's interest, but man's." Their interest was in the glories of the kingdom. God's interest was in the sacrifice of Christ on the cross for sin. So they have gone from the highest high to the lowest low. They have just affirmed that Jesus is their Messiah, that he is God. He is of the same nature as the true and living God. They anticipated the kingdom, but before they could begin to imagine what that might be like, they are told that he will suffer and die. This makes their following him all the more difficult. It is in that context that he offers this invitation. He pulls them together with whatever crowd was there at the time and says, "Here's the invitation. You now know that the way to glory is through suffering. You will soon know that the way to the crown is going to be through the cross. And by the way, I will suffer to enter into my glory, and so will you. So will you. If anyone wishes to come after me." It is set in that context. If you want to come after me, in spite of the fact that I'm going to be killed, in spite of the fact that it's not going to be an instant kingdom that your own interests would desire, God has a different plan and a different path.